Welcome to Gen Next Door. I'm Jennifer, your friendly neighbor, diving into the inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and local business owners who are making a real impact. Whether you're here for practical tips, a dose of motivation, or just a good story, pull up a chair. I'm tackling it all and saving a spot for you. Let's learn together. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be back. My first guest of the new season is Alexandra Bradberry. She's the founder and CEO of Sparkle Bar, a makeup studio celebrating the beauty of women and men. They're diversity inclusive and brand inclusive. I'll add all the information and the links in the show notes. Thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful that we're here finally. So we met in person in the Women Powered Stories That Define Leaders event at the Phoenix Art Museum. I really had a great time.
I thought it was great.
What did you think about it? And how did you even get involved with them?
Yeah, I love events like that bring the community together and allow for connections like this to occur. I was connected to that event where I was asked to be a table host through a friend, Marion Donaldson, who works at the Phoenix Art Museum. And I was invited to partake in this awesome experience where we had the pleasure of standing at tables and meeting guests for the beginning happy hour portion of the program, which then led to incredible panels by incredible women in this community. So I just love events like that make this happen.
Yes, it was so fun. I met so many people from all different walks of life. I think anywhere else I would have never met them. So I really like going to these like networking events like that.
I think especially too, when it comes to art, like art is something that a lot of different people can appreciate. So I think when you blend the two, it's just a
Yeah.
beautiful combination.
Yeah. I hope they can do more of those. Do you do other kinds of events like that? Do you have one
Yes. I mean,
planned?
coming, now that you're asking me, I can't think of one that's coming up in the foreseeable future, but I do love events like that. I'm a part of a lot of communities in town, Powerhouse Women, Copper Club, Foundress. What I love the most about all of them is that it brings women, people together and creates opportunity for connections to occur that wouldn't otherwise happen. So often, like we go through our day to day and do the same thing and want different results, but if you want to see different results, you have to do different things. And so events and networking and
Yeah.
showing up to panels and deciding to attend that thing by yourself, make it so that you can create the opportunity for something awesome to happen.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I would love to learn more about you. Before we get into your business, can you tell me a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, what you wanted to be, what you study?
Okay, love that. So I grew up in California, Southern California, which I think as I reflect now on where I'm at today, definitely shaped everything,
Mhm.
including the business that I have now. I think I've always been pretty entrepreneurial. My childhood included Girl Scouts, so like selling was part of who I was from a very early age, starting with things
Yeah.
like cookies. And I think that helped to really equip me in ways and build a lot of confidence that would lend itself later in life and help me to really feel really confident, which has been very, very helpful. I think my first like taste of entrepreneur life was babysitting, and I think that I really enjoyed being able to like create a business and have that experience where I could deliver a service and then get compensated and paid for that. So everything that I've done and studied has all been around like different experiences and creating just new opportunities for myself. My background truly is in sales though, so I studied communications and African American studies. I attended ASU, go Sun Devils.
Yeah.
But my career path has really been driven by sales background, which as an entrepreneur is like critical because you will need to sell your business, yourself, like your mission, your vision to the people who will become your clients. So all of it from when I was little to now has helped shape me into the person that I am.
Now that you were saying that babysitting has also helped, I was just thinking about that and I'm like, there's a lot of things you can learn from babysitting because you have to network and find parents and convince them, sales, do a good
Market yourself,
job,
right?
market, yeah. I'm not a parent, but parents can also keep an eye on that with your children and maybe help them figure out what they want to do. Like, oh, you like babysitting. Well, these are areas that you might like.
I agree. I agree. I am really grateful to my parents. My dad is an entrepreneur. My mom, she has shown me through her life that you're never too old to do anything. At 53, she became a DNP, so got her doctorate in nursing practice. She's a nurse practitioner on the Navajo Nation and specializes in geriatrics. So for me, like they're
Wow.
they're very
Okay.
much expanders for me. And I think you're right. As a parent, as I try to parent my own kids, I look at them as like they are who they are. So they're like come as a seed, and my job is to just like water and to be like
Mm,
those support beams that they put next to plants that are like baby and they're trying to grow and make sure that the roots and the trunk stay straight. But that's what we're supposed to do as parents, just like help guide as they mature and those roots get deeper and they become who they are, so that as they eventually become adults, they feel supported and try things and we're able to explore in ways that were conducive to their growth.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we can go into the business side of things. Can you walk me through your business journey and, well, actually, can you give me an elevator pitch for your business first?
Yeah. The Sparkle Bar is a makeup studio created to celebrate the diversity and beauty. What makes us different is that we were built and created to celebrate you, the individual, because what we believe is that what makes you special and what makes you unique is that you're created one of one. People come see us for whatever is important, everything from bachelorette, birthday, baby shower, they're having a job interview, you're having headshots taken, just because we're there to just simply remind you that what makes you perfect, what makes you special is that you are who you are. We essentially sell confidence directly applied to the face.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, makes it easy to understand. It's honestly like it's so fun. We get to see people come in one way and they walk out another, and
Yeah.
it's great. You just feel more confident, and it's not that we're changing anything about you. It's just sometimes somebody seeing you in a way that you don't always see yourself is the difference.
How did that idea come about?
So honestly, it was like was on maternity leave and I was sitting outside thinking about an event that I had to attend, and I'm like, I want my makeup done, but I didn't have a place where I could go. And it really got me thinking, like, this doesn't exist. Dry bar exists. What would be a cute name for that? And honestly, when I tell you, like, I literally followed those steps like a breadcrumb. I thought the idea and I was like, the Sparkle Bar would be a cute name. Let me see if that name exists. I went to, oh my gosh, where did I didn't even go to, like, I went to some, like, GoDaddy, right, to buy the domain. And that was like my signal. I'm like, if the domain exists, this is a sign for me to keep going. It existed. So
Oh,
I was like, okay, we're going to keep going here. And literally, that was like the snowball effect of how the business started and then continued to grow. And here we are, like literally 10 years later. We'll be 10 in September, which just started from an idea in a white space.
that's crazy. And I think one of the like things that takes the longest is finding a name cuz I don't know, it's going to be everywhere. That's what you're going to say to people the first thing. And you just have to have a really good name, especially
Hmm.
for marketing and stuff. So I'm like very surprised that you found that like right
Right?
away.
I know.
It was a
Well,
sign.
it was a sign. I honestly believe that nothing is on accident. Nothing in my life has been on accident. Nothing that I've experienced is on accident. All of it has helped me and shaped me into the person that I am. Even the things that have been not so awesome, I look at them like, what can I take from this and like apply it for the future? So, yes, when it's like, when it comes to you and it feels like that, it's like you have to take action sometimes. And that was what that was for me.
Yeah. So you looked up the name in GoDaddy. What was like the next step after that?
Okay, so then it's like, okay, like let's like what would this look like? What would it feel like? So literally I put together a business plan. I was working full time at the time still, and I took 2 days off of my job so that I could be in it, invest the hours. And as I reflect on even that decision to like decide and do, I'm actually impressed with myself because that was pretty for me to just feel like so inclined to take that decision. So yeah, it was a series of steps: applying for an EIN, getting a website, starting to build that. Who am I going to work with? What is that going to look like? There were lots of different steps that took place. And then, we faced major obstacles like having to pass a legislative bill here in Arizona, which exempted makeup artists from needing a cosmetology license. So all those things that there will be different obstacles that anyone starting a business will have to face, and you never know what those are going to look like. But each time you overcome, it builds this level of confidence in you that gives you that sense of self-belief that you can do this.
It's really hard for people, I think, to, like, everyone has ideas, but not a lot of people execute on those ideas. What advice would you give people to just do their business? Just get it done?
Right. I know it's so easy to just do it. You do have to find the motivation within yourself. And, that is something that is a part of entrepreneurship. It's probably the part that people don't talk about enough. You have to be very self-disciplined to make things happen, because you don't have somebody pushing you to make that call, send that email, fill out that proposal, submit that grant application, get creative, set aside the time, focus on marketing. So yes, it's hard, but if you really want to change your life and do something different, that is going to require a different level of you. You already know what it looks like when you do nothing. You're living it, right? So why not try to do the thing that you want to do and see what happens? Even if you fail, you tried and you know. But if you do nothing, you don't even attempt, you are going to wonder. And for me, wonder is the worst. I don't like to wonder what would have happened if I would have just tried. I can't live with that. So for me, the decision to do is stronger because I refuse to not see what's on the other side. People are so unwilling to go the extra mile, and it sounds cliche, but it's true. Do a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So many people are unwilling to just a little bit more. And if you are willing to just go the extra mile, follow up, send the email, do what you say you're going to do, it's going to take you so far in life.
100% agree. Growing up, I was always regretting what I didn't do than what I did do. And now, as I get older, I'm tired of that. Don't want to wonder. I want to do things. And if it doesn't work out, then I at least tried it. But I can't continue that way. And that's kind of why I started the podcast.
I love that.
Once that idea hit in my mind, I'm like, okay, I have to do it now. Because I'm always questioning every day. I'm like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Will it work?
And what's the worst that happens? You meet new people, you open new doors in your life, you get to have meaningful conversation, you get to be an expander for yourself and other people in your life. If there's so much upside that it's I have to do it.
Yeah. I don't even care if people listen. I get to talk to all these people. So cool.
Right. I know, honestly, there have been so many cool things that have happened as a result of having a business. One of the things that I didn't expect would be the coolest thing is that I get to connect with phenomenal women like you every single day who are doing awesome things in life. And they come to see us because they're getting ready to go do that awesome thing. So I just get to be in that energy by default. But you're right. Just like this podcast allows you to connect with lots of people, being in business allows you to be in community with incredible people.
Yes. Okay, so you have a brick and mortar for Sparkle Bar. Why?
I was thinking about this a couple of days ago because we went right into a brick and mortar, which has things like overhead and, insurance you have to pay, utilities, internet. It just adds a whole other level of complexity when it comes to cash flowing. Ultimately, wanted to create the ultimate destination for getting your glam on. And, location is so critical. So we've always been based in Old Town. It's a popular destination. You certainly never count on walk-up traffic as part of your business plan, but it doesn't hurt that we're right there in the heart of Old Town. When people Google Scottsdale, that horse fountain roundabout picture pops up, and that's our street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be in the mix, but it hasn't been the easiest thing to have a brick and mortar. Having a retail physical location means that you have to constantly having that space generating money. So yeah, we have a brick and mortar. Come see us. We'd love to welcome you.
I think it gets people in the mood. It's a vibe.
Totally.
You just get more excited.
Destination. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Like you could, and that's part of it too. Like you can hire a makeup artist. There's incredible makeup artists everywhere. But some people don't want to have somebody come to their house. They want to like just go and experience their service and be left alone and like enjoy that moment without having to worry about
Hmm.
cleaning up for someone to get there. So you're right. It does like get you in the vibe. I like to think of it as like the female equivalent of the barber shop, where it's like so much more than just like getting your hair cut. You are connecting, having fun, talking to your friends, learning about, the great restaurant down the corner or this album or this
Hmm.
fitness thing. So just like that, we have our vibe where we do that and we listen to music, we get ready together, we're talking about this press juice, this, workout thing or whatever is going on in the community. So it is a lot of fun. You're right. It just sets the tone for a great night or day.
Speaking of the brick and mortar, in the beginning, what were your thoughts on it? Like, how did you think it was viable? Like, what were the measures that you were thinking about? Like, oh, do I have enough money? How many people do I need to come in?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? What was the process?
The things that you think about, even the things that you don't are really the ones that get you. I mean, there's so much to consider when you have a brick and mortar. We also have employees, right? So I have W-2 employees. So there's that additional layer of things like payroll tax. I mean, being in business is challenging. The things that you want to look at are, yes, like what am I spending monthly, and what do I need to like break it down to the lowest common denominator. What do I need to do monthly, daily, weekly, hourly to get to this number? How am I going to get to what I need to get to cash flow positively? And that comes from, trying to build a moat around your business. For us during the pandemic, it was very eye opening. We were so reliant on that one to one interaction. So once that went away completely and we weren't able to see clients, it's like, how do you shift your business and pivot in a way that allows you to still continue, but adapt to the current reality? And so for us, that looked like virtual and then working with a lot of corporate clients at that point. So that's how we adjusted and pivoted. But you have to constantly be getting creative, iterate, try new things, and not be afraid to do whatever is necessary to ensure that your business makes it. For me, that's telling every single person who we are, what the Sparkle Bar is, what we do, who we serve, to ensure that I've done everything that I can to support my business.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of to think about. A lot of different layers, a lot of detail. Um, Speaking on those details, how do you get your supplies? I know that you work with multiple brands. How does that work?
Yeah, so a little mix of everything. Part of our brand story is that we don't align ourselves with any one brand because our whole objective is to ensure that we have something for every skin tone, type, texture, age, ethnicity. So
I
we'll
love that.
never just go with one brand because they pay us to. And that's the reason we don't sell product. It's the reason we went to have a legislative bill set in motion, because we always wanted it to be about the experience and never that you were being pressured to buy something.
So you keep talking about this bill.
Yes.
So can you just explain a little bit about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yes, it was called SB 1320, which actually is kind of funny to me because I feel like SB is like Sparkle Bar 1320, but SB really stands for Senate Bill.
Sure, sure.
But
We'll go
Senate
with
Bill
that.
1320, we'll go with it, right? It's for both of us. Senate Bill 1320 essentially created an exemption for makeup artists. So previously, if you were a makeup artist, you needed to be a licensed cosmetologist or esthetician, even though they didn't teach or require makeup artistry as part of the curriculum.
Hmm.
There were also some really interesting rules. For example, if you went to NARS counter or MAC or Lancome and decided you wanted to get your makeup done, it was okay if that person doing your makeup was unlicensed, because if they were doing makeup for you at the counter, they were putting that makeup on you for demonstration purposes for the purpose of sale. But the second you stepped outside of the retail environment and it was no longer about you buying this NARS foundation and me, your makeup artist, just doing a great job on your makeup and you pay me for my skill and ability, it was illegal. And that sounded weird to me.
That does sound weird.
And they also wanted us to have things like a shampoo bowl in our studio when we don't do any hair and we don't do any of that, which also didn't make any sense to me. And when things don't make sense to me, I ask questions. And so one question led to another, which eventually led to us working with the Institute for Justice, who sponsored us and um, helped us to get this bill passed, and it did, which is great. So now, for the past 10 plus years, it passed in 2014, every makeup artist, including ours, are able to go and work and be contributing members of society, pay taxes, do and build their own businesses, but don't need to have the cosmetology license because it's not a requirement for licensure. So it really just created economic liberty for every makeup artist here in the state. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. It also showed me though, and that was really early in the, I mean, a year before we actually physically opened, because that was another obstacle that I didn't see coming, right? But something that gave me a lot of confidence, because I'm like, anybody can do this. You just have to follow the steps.
Yeah.
Getting a bill passed is kind of a big deal.
It sounds
So
kind of
that was very,
scary, but
it's like, okay, what do you do? How do you do this? What do we do next? Oh, we have a lawyer. Okay, we have to get a sponsoring senator. Okay, and so our senator was, she's the Honorable Kimberly Lee now, so our state treasurer, but she was the senator at the time and sponsored our bill. But it is just like that. Anybody can do anything. You can do
yeah.
anything you put your mind to. If you have a dream, you can absolutely achieve it. It is so possible. So that was a very expansive moment for me.
It's like that one quote where they say, like, if you don't ask, it's always a no. So it never hurts to ask.
I think Chris Jenner said, if you tell me no, also, like, I'm just speaking to the wrong person. It's not a no. I'm talking to the wrong person.
Yeah, you can't. They're not the boss.
Right. I got to go. Who else can I speak to then? And sometimes you have to do that.
That's funny. Okay, back to the supplies.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
I just interrupted you because I was thinking about it since you said it. But okay, you have multiple
Okay.
brands.
Yeah, so we're with lots of brands. We
You're
buy
not
supplies.
selling anything.
We don't sell color products. So the things that we have available in studio for people are like a rotating, curated set of items that like complement the experience. For example, a lot of people who come are heading to an event, a gala or a birthday or a bachelorette, and maybe they forgot their earrings. So we have things like earrings by, local brands here in town,
Okay.
or the perfect housewarming gift, like our incense that we love, our setting spray that we're obsessed with, the things that we think that you need to have, because we want to be the conduit by which you are introduced to your next new fave. So we try to have those kinds of things in the studio and create like a really immersive experience. In our powder rooms, you'll notice that we have fragrance, so that you just have everything that you need. And all the fragrance that we carry, you can purchase
Mm.
at Nordstrom or Saks. So we try to create those relationships in place so that we can partner strategically with the different brands and the different our other like local brands that we love to work with as well.
Oh, that's really cool. Helping each other, helping the community.
100%. 100%. Especially right now, it's so important to collaborate, to work together.
Yeah.
And this goes for anybody who's in business. We use a quote in studio. I'm a big like quote person or proverb person. So one of those is an African proverb that says, "If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together." And
Go
so that is
alone.
very much like the way that I see a lot of things. And it's just so much more fun to go with your friends. So working together really does lighten the load and make it easier for you to achieve a common goal.
Yes. Okay, so then you said that you have employees. Who was your first employee and how did you decide that you needed them?
So even that, so I'm not a makeup artist by trade. I'm the archetype. I am the client that we aim to overserve. So it was critical to have makeup artists who can deliver the service and experience.
Mm.
Actually, when we first opened, it was really important that like it was always about like the client, never about like the owners or anybody who was behind the scene. It was always about like creating an exceptional experience for the client in the chair. It didn't matter who you were seeing as an artist, because the experience is going to be consistent across the board. Because what we pride ourselves on is creating exceptional experiences around makeup, and with an aptitude to serve every skin tone, type, texture, age, and ethnicity.
Yeah, so like do makeup artists like come to you or how do you find them?
Yeah, so it was another cool thing. Ripple effect is real. After we had that bill passed, there was a lot of press that also came along with it, which was great. Phoenix Business Journal wrote about that.
Mm.
The newspapers reached out. So people started to gain a lot of awareness through that. So people were reaching out to inquire about, coming to work at the Sparkle Bar to interview. So there was a bit of promotion, but also a fair amount of people who were also just inquiring because a place like this didn't exist. There are right brain people and left brain people, but typically artistic people are like more right brain and, creative. And when you work in a retail setting, your job is to sell. So it really does stifle the creative when their job is to sell. So at the
Yeah.
Sparkle Bar, they get to focus on being an artist and creating an awesome experience, not selling things. And so it's such a win-win because we get to create an environment where there are lots of artists working together, collaborating, iron sharpening iron, and also our clients get to reap the benefits of having a really skilled staff who can focus and dedicate their time on them.
I love that. I know that one of the obstacles was that situation with the legislative bill, but were there any other obstacles that you had to face
Oh my
during
gosh.
this whole time?
I think that obstacles are like the rule rather than the exception. Like
Right.
you will face obstacles. There are so many obstacles. Everything from
Guess like things like that people wouldn't have don't really think about until they're in it.
yeah, okay.
Maybe it would help people to know like what to expect.
One thing that I learned that was really difficult to deal with was the understanding and knowing the importance of contracts
Mm.
and how important having operating agreements and contracts in place are. So don't underestimate the power of having that lawyer review your agreements and making sure that your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. It just protects everyone when you have that in place. The other thing that people don't realize are taxes. Taxes are major. You must pay your taxes. And if you have employees, there's payroll taxes. And I think that people don't realize the importance of making sure that you are running a real business. You need to make sure that you take care of all of that. And it can be very expensive. Penalties are expensive. Filing late is expensive. And sometimes you have to learn those expensive lessons and charge it to the game. But if there's anything that I can share with anyone, it's, you will pay. So make sure that you do what you need to do and follow the steps.
I'm not sure if you do this, but are taxes for businesses every 3 months? Or is that for
So
certain
some
ones?
Yeah, certain ones. So some people we're not a heavy we don't do retail is something we've newly incorporated because we were so focused on just the experience. But as businesses evolve and people want to business requires that you continue to change and iterate. So after 9+ years, people know they like and they trust you and they want to buy things. So that's why we started to incorporate that experience into the whole part of coming to get your makeup done. And I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question. What was your question?
Wait, what was it? We were talking about taxes, and certain businesses
Oh,
have
oh, oh,
do
yeah,
it
yeah,
like every
yeah.
three
Yes.
months.
So there's a TPT tax that requires you submit, but yes, 941s. We use a payroll processing system like ADP that files that on our behalf for us, and so yeah, that's why it's for me, I'd rather spend the money and have a system like an
Yeah.
ADP. Make sure you have your QuickBooks to manage your back end, know your numbers because it ensures that I am protected in that way. But yes, those are the things that you need to be looking out for. And there's lots of resources available. One of the first places that I looked to get guidance and advice was the Small Business Administration. Attended a workshop, was connected to the different, hubs in town, and that was really eye-opening because those are the places where you will meet the person who can help point you in the direction to get you connected to the person who's going to help you next.
Yes, 100%. Um. Okay, so what has been the most effective marketing that you've done or idea? Yeah.
A referral is the highest compliment that we can receive. So we've been very grassroots, very referral heavy, and those are always the best. It's like you sharing your little secret with your best friends, and so we appreciate that. The truth is, as a small business, especially one that is like bootstrap, you don't always have a lot of capital to market and advertise. And so you have to get creative about doing that. So one of the ways that really helped us to get our name out there was to collaborate, do some brand activations, pop up in different settings, be at networking meetings, set up a table for, Powerhouse women, or get in where we could to create more visibility for ourselves so that I my background is in sales, and an analogy that I use, which is kind of weird, but it makes a lot of sense, is if you want to get hit by a car, you go stand where the most cars are, right? So similarly, if I'm trying to reach my target audience, I need to be where they are. I need to be in the spaces they are. I need to make sure that they know that we're here and that we're that that they can come to us for this specific thing. So making sure that I was deeply aware and acquainted with our audience and the community was very helpful, and it continues to be helpful.
You did mention the target audience. I guess first step would be to know who your target audience is.
Yes, and honestly, your avatar might have a lot of different, like, be very multifaceted. You will have your core and then your fringe audience, but yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I know that our person typically uh, has a treat yourself mentality, works hard, likes to play hard, disposable income, appreciates what it means to look good and feel good, invests in themselves, also likes group fitness. So maybe is a Pilates girly or likes to do some like CrossFit or
Mm-hmm.
spin. Also probably likes pressed juice, also enjoys attending professional development or personal development. So yeah, you will learn who your person is and then you can speak directly to them.
I don't know if you're doing this now, but I saw on the website that you have a Sparkle Academy. Can you explain a little bit what that is?
Yes, Sparkle Academy. We get to meet a lot of people and clients. Like this was birthed out of necessity, just like the Sparkle Bar, who come see us because they're doing awesome things. But then they're telling us, like, I'm heading to Philadelphia to speak and keynote. Do you have a makeup artist there? I'm going to be in Miami. Do you have somebody here? I'm doing this event in New York. Do you have anybody here? So there was an identified need to have a group of artists that we could pull from across markets globally. So Sparkle Academy really is the convergence of us doing that. It is a self-guided certification. It's really like the cherry on top. So this is ideal for the artist who is an artist, loves makeup, but really wants that refinement. We are going to be teaching our core looks and then the way that we also conduct our business so that people can learn how we do everything from the client experience of customer service and the initial call to how we close everything. So really equipping people to do what we do in their markets. And so Sparkle Academy is going to be launching at the end of June, and we're super excited about that. People can watch that whole rollout and journey and be added to our waitlist as well.
That's so exciting.
I'm excited.
So this is just like the whole US, or is there specific cities?
We're going to make it available to whomever wants it, but we are in specific cities more heavily than others. And so some of our desired target markets are New York, Miami, Las Vegas, Nashville.
Okay. And you're not gonna have, or maybe in the future have a brick and mortar for all those locations?
So, our experience can be experienced anywhere. We have a very small footprint, meaning the space that we occupy in any place. So I do have a vision for what that would look like. That might look like a partnership with like a Ritz Carlton or a like Marriott properties, for example, where we would have
Mm-hmm.
like a store in a store. So like have an outpost or a pop up, because there are destinations and people who are going to places to get ready for special events everywhere, so we can easily pop up. I also think another place for us is like Centurion lounges or airport lounges, because that's also our
Yeah.
client who is like taking off or landing to go somewhere and needs to be ready off the plane. So those are other potential opportunities. And then, of course, we also travel on location to go to people's homes, which is also convenient for the client who desires that level of convenience. But I do think that I know people will experience us in their markets for sure, but I just don't know that we'll be in a full brick and mortar standalone.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. I really like the pop-ups, not just like makeup, but like anything. It gives you a sense of need to go because it'll be gone
Limited, right?
tomorrow. Very limited, yeah. What has been the most rewarding part of your journey so far?
I mean, I think that just being able to continue to not prove to myself, but like see what I'm capable of and the resilience. And I have this world as my oyster kind of mentality, and not in a bad way, but just like anything is possible, you know? So it's very exciting to see that anything that you set your mind to or that you just focus on can be accomplished.
100%. Like, even you speaking about it, it's getting me all excited for you. Like, oh my God, okay, you're gonna expand. All these people are gonna know you.
I see. So just recently, Haley Bieber's brand Rode sold for
I saw
$1 billion.
that. I'm like, what?
And granted, like we can dissect that whole thing, but that's so cool. 2.5 years, and yes, she's famous, and there's some things that famous friends, and so it's not the case for everyone, but it's possible, and if I can do that too.
100.
I actually had a different number, and so when I heard her number, I was like, oh, I this is absolutely can be done. So, I love to see the way that people are embracing beauty. It's so cool. Even like the WNBA or NCAA, like the girls basketball, women's sports, it's very cool to be a part of that moment right now too.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard about that restaurant that um
Yeah, Title
only
IX.
has like sports for women.
Yeah, I think it's called Title IX Grill here
Title
in
nine, yeah.
yeah, in Arizona. See, right? Things like that. It's awesome.
Yes.
Even like the fashion, like you can be pretty and powerful. The two are not mutually exclusive.
There's this woman that I work with. She always dresses up so nice. It's not for anybody else, it's just for her. Because we don't really dress up in the office, but it just makes you feel good.
I had a life-changing experience in 2023, and it just really it taught me to romanticize every little part of my life because every
Mhm.
little part is such a blessing. Like I woke up today, my eyes can see, my legs are literally they move, my lungs can breathe. Like we'll take that for granted, but it's such a gift and such a blessing to be able to be present here.
People need to remember that, me included.
I mean, every time I'm having a rough day, I literally start with like the bare minimum. Like, I'm having a rough day, and that happens a lot in business, and you have to be able to talk yourself through that, coach yourself through that. And affirmations are really helpful for me, but
Mm.
honestly, I start with like the very basics. I have a bed, my feet work, I can breathe, like I can walk, I can think through this, I have all my faculties, it's gonna be fine.
I always think everything bad that has happened to me has already happened. And I am still alive. I'm still here and I'm okay. I'm always going to be okay after any situation.
That's right.
Do you have any memorable transformations that you've done?
Oh, I think some of the biggest compliments we received have been the people who tell us how seen and welcome they feel when they come to the studio, how they feel safe. And that's always been the energy we've wanted to have, where it's just an opportunity like for you to feel your best self. And my favorite review, there have been a couple, but one that I always reference because it's just impactful. I know how powerful a job is for anybody, but we had somebody come in who was getting their makeup done before a job interview, and they got the job, wrote back to tell us that they crushed the interview, they got the job of their dreams. And I won't ever forget that because a job can change somebody's life. And that little sprinkle of sparkle, that little confidence that this person received as a result of coming in advance of that interview is what helped them feel confident and equipped to go crush it. And that's what we get to do for people. I think like we are there in those final moments before people go do the thing that they came in to
Mm,
do, whether it's speak on stage, deliver a keynote, go take photos. Like, we get to be there for that. And so it is an honor to speak life into people and send them off better than what they came.
I love that.
But really, it's the people who say what their body language, what's understood doesn't need to be said. I can see it when people walk in, what they're feeling. And I'm safe. It's okay. They can do me. I
Yeah,
see me. They feel themselves. Like they can see themselves in the space and represent it. And that's really important.
I love watching TikToks. And I love watching the ones where they go to a barber shop and then the men get their hair cut. And you can just see like the confidence.
The
Once you get a good
transformation.
haircut,
Yes.
the
I
transformation is
love those
crazy.
actually. I saw one the other day. It was just like that. This young kid, he was like 12 years old, but you could tell he just got his whole life together. He felt like the yes, the man.
Yeah.
Very that.
Like, of course, like looks aren't important, but I don't know what it is. It just, when you're dolled up, it brings you so much joy, a light, some confidence. I don't know what it is.
And this is the okay. So you'd asked me about like, is the makeup about just like covering your face or is it something else? And it's
Yeah.
more than makeup. It truly is a more than makeup experience. It is at a soul level, actually, because oftentimes people who've had a bad experience or who have not felt pretty is because they haven't that reflected back to them. There is this like perceived notion of beauty, and we aim to reframe what that looks like. We call our clients sparkle babes because that is everyone. You are that girl. Makeup is an act of self care, it's just putting yourself together. You can choose how to adorn yourself however you want, but the intent in what we're doing here is just pouring into ourselves. And through the motions of getting ready, yes, it is like adding a little color enhancing there, but it's all about just embracing your individual features and enhancing those.
That's what that is. I love that.
Yes.
It's not trying to like cake on a bunch of things, trying to be like the people on social media. It's enhancing the
What
things
you've
that
already got
already
going
make you
on.
special.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We don't even default, like, we don't default to contouring people's faces because I have no issue with my nose, the shape of it, the
Mm.
nothing. It is what makes me me, and I embrace that. So, we're very thoughtful about the way that we do things because it's not about changing it unless you want that. Some people want transformation, and we're here to provide a service for you. So if you like it, I love it. But that's what we aim to do through the experience.
I love that. So you're a mom.
I am a
You
mom.
have two girls.
Yes.
Any tips for moms that want to want to help their young girls with
No, it's,
beauty, with makeup?
yeah, it's, learning is appropriate at any age. My girls teach me things all the time. And so it doesn't matter what age you are, you can come learn how to do something different. Learning is an eternal thing. But for those who are wanting to find ways to like build that confidence through the Sparkle Bar, we offer fun things like lessons where you can learn how to do things together and like, the simple things, concealing that pimple because maybe like you just want to know how to do that because you had a breakout that day or,
Mm.
simple tips and tricks. But we really also want to talk about the important things like the best foundation for makeup is skincare, like taking care of your skin. So making sure that you're doing that as well, taking care of your tools and your brushes. And so like taking pride and ownership, the things that are belong to you, yourself. And that confidence also comes with like taking care of yourself. But what we really try to do in those moments, especially with our younger girls, because I understand as a mom, is to just remind them that who they are is enough, that they are so perfect as they are, and to just remind them that what makes them special and that their superpower is their individuality. And that's what we try to do with everyone. Like, what makes you so you is that there is no one like you. That's your superpower. So, her being her does not take away from you being you. You can all shine together.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nosy and I like to stalk my guests. And I saw on Instagram that you met Vice President Harris. Kamala
Did.
Harris.
Yes, I know, right? I know. It's pretty wild. That was last summer. Yeah.
What happened?
What a wild
Did it have to do with
experience.
your job or with your business, or was it just something different?
So I was invited in July of 2024. It was actually the last public appearance before she was named like the presidential candidate. So it was very cool to
Mm-hmm.
be invited. I was invited by United States Minority Business Council, so like the Black Chamber, and they were hosting events. I actually didn't think that the invitation was real when I received an email from the office of the vice
I would
president.
have thought it was fake. We
I'm
didn't
like,
even
there's
looked
no
at it.
way. So I called a friend and I asked her, I'm like, hey, this is weird, but like, do you think this is legit? And so she was like, yeah. But then she referred me to another friend who had been invited before to confirm, and he also confirmed that it was real. I sent an email too because I was still unsure. I'm like, is this phishing? I looked at the end of like .gov and
Yeah.
they provided me with a phone number to call, and it was so random. Like I called the White House thinking that they're just going to confirm that there was an event for me, but it all panned out. I did in fact meet the vice president. I was selected to like take a photo as well. So I went into the home of the vice president. It was a surreal experience to be on premise and to just have that invitation. It's true. This business has opened so many doors, some that I never thought possible. What a once in a lifetime experience to have the opportunity to go and be there. But yeah, that is exactly what happened.
Oh my God.
Right?
That would
I
have
know
been the
what's gonna
highlight
happen
of
this
my
summer.
year.
It definitely, like, honestly, life is so interesting because it's like a heart rate monitor. It's true. It's like full of ups and
Right.
downs. But those ups and downs, just like a heart rate monitor, are signs of life. And so it is so cool to see that, you know, it never has it ever been like easy, but throughout this entire journey, it's been filled with like these awesome peaks and valleys that have made it very memorable.
Yeah, and that would have never happened if you didn't start your business, put yourself out there,
Yep,
meet people, because
exactly.
one person connects another person, connects another person. Um, okay, a couple more questions. What do you read or watch to stay informed or for fun?
That's a great question. Okay, so I don't really watch a lot of TV. So most recently, I had to have a crown. So I
Oh
got to
God.
watch a lot of Netflix. So I watched the Meghan Markle show on Netflix, and that was entertaining. It's like a modern day Martha Stewart. It's
Mm-hmm.
really cute. So those are fun things to watch. I don't like things that I have to like commit to and like watch a series because I'm just so busy that I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But so I enjoy those like wrap it up, like Law and Order style shows. What do I listen to stay informed? I love podcasts. I love Audible. I love to like learn and ingest information and facts and things like that. So a lot of podcasts. You want me to like name some of them or
Yeah, if you have
okay.
some in your mind.
I mean, I love entrepreneurial podcasts. I'm very like I love how people built their businesses, what's worked for them. I feel like my earliest mentors have been books that I've read or listened to and people that I've heard on podcasts because in the absence of having those direct connections to people,
Mm-hmm.
this is where you can like be a fly on the wall for those awesome conversations. I mean, everything from My First Million, which is like a great podcast, to I love Powerhouse Women. I love How I Built It. I listen to like the Goldman Sachs morning podcast. A little of everything. Earn Your Leisure, because I like to hear the conversations that are being had.
100%. It just and then it like kind of motivates you. Like I can do it too. Like
Absolutely,
if they did it, I can do it.
for sure.
Okay, so what is something you want to leave the listeners with? Information about your projects or last inspirational words?
I mean, so, if you want to just continue following along the journey, I would love that. Please do. It's going to be super fun and exciting. So, you can follow us at, my personal handle and the Sparkle Bar. But what do I want to leave people with? I
That's a
think
big question.
Yeah, it is a big question. It is a big question because depending on who you are, I think what I want you to walk away with is that you have the power to impact people in ways that you have no idea. Like when you throw a pebble into a pond, the ripples that are created as a result are more than just that rock. So, something that I learned recently is that you really never know what anybody is dealing with or going through unless they choose to share that with you.
Hmm.
So, in all situations, to treat people with kindness, because if you can be that for somebody in those situations, you just don't know the impact that will have. So, I think that in general, my biggest piece of advice or takeaway that I'd like everyone to walk away with is do your best to just be kind. Think people are struggling a lot right now, and that one of the ways that we can have the biggest impact is just to smile, to be kind, and to be the light because it's important. People need it, and you have the power to change the trajectory of somebody's day and life just by being who you are. So shine on.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I totally think we need more kindness with each other because
yourself,
you're
each
right.
other.
Yeah. Especially myself. That's really hard.
Hmm.
Okay, so last question. What do you love about Arizona? What specific local business or location?
Oh my gosh, that's a big question too.
Yeah.
I love Arizona. I love the community here. I love the entrepreneurial community here. I love that I feel like it's a very nurturing place for a small business. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's been very like receptive to ours, and I'm very grateful for that. I think that the best and most impactful thing that listeners can do is to support your local businesses. And also, don't forget, some of your franchises are also locally owned businesses. They're just franchisors of those businesses. So, when you spend your money locally, it stays in the community. And that's really important. Your local businesses are the ones who are like donating to those philanthropic organizations and to those galas. So to support, because it's what helps us to all create a really beautiful ecosystem that continues to thrive. And we really appreciate that.
100%. That's a good point. I don't know about you and how you feel about the entrepreneurial like community here, but even though that we're a big city, Phoenix is really big, so many people, it still feels small with local business owners. I go to different networking events and I see the same people. I always bump into someone that I've saw somewhere else. Like we just are very active.
I think
Yeah.
that's a great point, and that's why you show up, right? The first time you go, it's by yourself and you don't know anybody. But like the second time you go, maybe you know one person. And the third time you go, maybe there's four people that you remember from the first event. And just continuing to put yourself out there is what creates those relationships.
Well, this was a great hour. I really enjoyed talking with you. I
Likewise.
personally learned a lot, and I hope the audience can learn a little bit about you too. And go check out her business.
Thank
Sparkle
you.
Bar
Thank
is in
you.
Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, so
Scottsdale.
right in the heart of Old Town. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you taking and sharing your time with me.
Thank